Normally when we have events here, I ring the dinner bell, but since we didn't do that, can you go ring that bell there, Pablo? Yep. I want to tell you a little story about that. I'll tell you a little bit about the ranch at the end of the talk here. It's just a short tech talk on Seattle history. But what you're hearing is some history. So that was the sound from 1876. There were 13 Liberty Bell replicas made for the 13 colonies. I found the last one on eBay. I bought it, and we built a bell tower. So that's how we kind of celebrate events here with the Liberty Bell. All right, so I want to give you a little background on Seattle tech history. So that's what they asked me to talk about, so that's what we're going to talk about. And Seattle is kind of an interesting place, going way back. Where you're sitting right now, 12,000 years ago, there was 3,000 feet of glacial ice, right? Imagine what that was like 12,000 years ago. Fast forward, first company that really made the scene was Weyerhaeuser in 1900, then Boeing 1916. Then fast forward, there were two companies, one famous and one infamous about Seattle. So the famous one we all know is Microsoft, and when I was, quote unquote, working with them, they were worth about $10 million or so, right? Now they're worth $4 trillion. And there was an event that the infamous company had that helped make Microsoft who it is today. And that company was more of a legitimate Seattle company because Microsoft really started in Arizona and moved up in 79. And we started a company in 79, but it had an actual name of Seattle in it. Can anybody know what the Seattle name was? See, yes, we're gone. What was the name? Seattle Computer Products. And what I want to show you really quickly here is the thing that got everything started was I have the original computer that Paul Allen and Gates looked at because they were going to do a deal. And we didn't know, because there was a guy named Gary Kildall who had an 8-bit operating system. This goes way back now for hobbyists. And I had that, and I was running it in my dorm room. And this guy, Tim Patterson, said, hey, I'm building a new operating system. We're waiting for Gary to give us CP/M. But we can't wait, so come help us build the operating system. So we built this thing called QDOS, because we're in a hurry, quick and dirty DOS. We built that. Tim had already built this card. So this is the first 8086 card with a wire wrap in the back. Rich Tong looked at that and said, yeah, that's a legitimate. we do wire wraps. And so we built this thing, and we got it working, and we got, I was working on the languages at Microsoft at the time, with Microsoft, getting their languages ported to my operating system. Meanwhile, Ballmer and Paul kind of did a dirty thing on us, and they went to IBM, didn't tell us. We did a license deal, and the rest is history. But that is the history of Seattle. We were there, it happened. One's worth $4 trillion, one's worth nothing. But I keep it around just because I remember, I remember those days, and we had, 8-inch discs. And this is the original 1.25 that went to Microsoft before IBM came out with a fancy little 5 1/4-inch discs. So that was a little bit of history on the tech side. And there's also an AI history in Seattle. Seattle wasn't a big AI town because there were AI winters, right? The 70s and 80s. 80s, 90s, AI was like hyped, and we said, no, it's not working. So what I do, I started an AI company. I went to Battelle Memorial Laboratory. It was a big lab, national lab in Richland, the highest concentration of PhDs in the country because of the bomb. And I went there, and they wanted us to do a project where the NSA said, hey, we want to sniff email on the internet and find the bad guys. So this paper came out. And it was called Support Vector Machines, 1997. Now we're getting kind of technical here, but it was a really cool paper that said, hey, we can use machine learning, put all this text in it, and have all these topics and analyze what's going on. And so they did it, it worked. And so I did a tech transfer, and it was really painful trying to sell AI in 1997, 98. Really painful. Like, no one believed in it, and why would you use it? And no one trusted it. And then this guy, Rick Dalzell. Now, Rick Dalzell came from Walmart, went to Amazon. There was a big lawsuit. They settled it. It was fine. But Rick was sort of the chief super smart of everything at Amazon, right? Whatever that title is, that's what he was. He worked for Jeff. And he came and saw what we're doing and says, I got to buy this company. So he bought the company, and then that became the recommendation engine for Amazon. You remember that, Todd? Yeah, so, Kelly Pennick and Jeremy York and those guys, right? They worked for Holden. Anyway, that became like the first AI thing that was really used in a big way, but people didn't know why they were using it. And it's a little black box with support vector machines. And we used it, we're excited, we launched it. What happened? great, except for one problem. 2% of pregnancies end in a miscarriage. And so this little black box is spitting out recommendations. Hey, you're going to have a baby, buy this. Hey, you had a baby, buy this. That's a problem. So we had to hack that thing, get rid of it. Like, what do we do? It's a black box. How do we fix it? We hack it. Look for things with mothers, pull those things out. And so that was like in early days of the ethics of AI, right? That's the first time we're really talking about AI ethics. And we didn't really know what we were doing. We were just doing it. It was new tech. We did that. Fast forward to today, AI has changed quite a bit. I mean, significantly, like orders of magnitude. We haven't really put the safeguards around it. These black boxes are everywhere doing things. And the real big problem right now with AI, it's wonderful, I use it, of course all of us use it. Who uses Google anymore? We just do AI stuff, right? And so, because it gets me information millions of times faster than I can. So AI, what it really is just so much better than, and much faster than humans. And networks have been faster than humans, and computers have been faster than humans. So AI has become faster than humans. The problem that we run into with AI is we have this, this aphorism that we all know, correlation does not mean causation. So if anything you remember today, correlation does not mean causation. We all know that. Apply it to AI. Because what AI can't really do right now, although people say they can, is it can't really do reasoning. Because if you understand how the large language models work and all the things they add to that, the algorithms, it's not really doing human reasoning. It sounds like us, it talks like us, it looks like us, but it's not thinking like us. And so what I've been thinking about for quite a long time, we have a company called Autonoma to make everything autonomous. And we thought about how should AI work in the future? How are we going to deal with these trillions of agents everywhere? And how is it going to be safe? Because we don't want the Amazon thing happening, because that could happen in a factory, in the electrical grid, it can happen in all these places. If you don't understand reasoning, you should not be launching AI in a reasoning-dependent situation. Anyway, off my soapbox, but what I'm saying is we've come through a long history in Seattle. Like, we kind of started the whole thing. The internet really happened because of Amazon and Bezos' vision. We launched the marketplace. So when Jeff hired me, he said, hey, we're in trouble. The Z Shops had gone down. They launched Z Shops, which is their first marketplace. It went up, and then crashed. And then Amazon launched eBay, up. Amazon auctions, up, and it crashed. And the stock crashed down to $6 a share. So Todd and John and others, we remember that. It was a very painful time. But Amazon came out of it. They built this marketplace. We launched this thing. It was amazing. So Amazon really made a mark on Seattle. So first it was Microsoft, then it was Amazon, and then all the other Silicon Valley people came up, right? Because there's a talent pool. And so with this amazing talent pool, with all these startups, with all this venture going on here, and with AI being at the top of mind, just think about how AI is being applied. Think about the history lessons from what we learned in Seattle, what we learned at Microsoft, Amazon, all these companies, and think about how it should be applied. And so just want to give you a little history. Think about that. Where I think it's going is this strange term called tetration. And tetration is the exponent of the exponent. So we saw exponential growth with PCs. We saw exponential growth with the internet. We're about to move into tetration growth, where agents are building agents and making their own decisions, building networks. This is what's going to happen. I believe it will happen, but there's a lot of speed bumps along the way, and we got to do it right. So just be thinking about that, read articles about that, go to our website. It's all cool, autonoma.com, and look at these stuff. That's how we're thinking about the world. And so I'll leave you with one last thing. So why this ranch? People are asking me, okay, why did you do this? Well, at the end of the day, I'm an analog guy. Well, we're all analog people, right? Don't fool yourself. There's a huge simulacrum out there called the digital world, and it's wonderful. It's made a lot of us a lot of money. We can build places like this. We can enjoy our lives better than we could before. But I like to surround myself with animals. So you got the bison, you got the yaks, sheep, goats, pigs, horses, donkeys. I hope I didn't leave anybody out. I surround myself because that's reality. So every day I'm around reality. I see it. You saw a reality test a little while ago when I almost got knocked over by the bison. That's what I call reality. That's what I live for, like those kind of rushes. So mixing the digital and the analog is kind of what really gets me. I love that. I love that you guys all came out to the ranch today, and now we're going to have a really good panel. Pablo, introduce it.